Okay guys, this is a series of videos that will take you through the Access Database test. I'm just going to pull up my test here. So here it is. You got this Task 3 database. Okay, we're going to prepare some reports for the company. Make sure that all the currency values display the same currency symbol and are set to 2 decimal places. Don't forget, these instructions are very important. Dates are to be displayed in the format of DDMMYY. Don't negate these instructions. Okay, so we'll start with this. We're going to import the file j228apprentices.csv. Okay, I have already downloaded those files. They are on my desktop. They're right here. These are the 2 files I will need for my database, and this is my evidence folder that I'm going to need as well. All right, so let's get to it. So first thing I'm going to do is open up database, okay, Access Database. Now I'm going to select a blank desktop database, okay. That table there I do not need, so I'm just going to close it and it'll get rid of it. All right, now I want to import external data, okay. Even though that file looks like it is an Excel file because of the icon, we are not importing an Excel file. We are importing a text file. Okay, so I'm going to find it there, and once again, it is J228 Apprentices, which I've kept on my desktop. So there it is. Yep, I'm importing it as a .csv file. Okay. Okay, that's good. Yep, that's the file I want, and I'm going to select OK. Okay. I want it to be a delimited value with characters that have a comma-separated value. So that's great. And next, yes, my values are comma-separated. Choose the delimiter that separates your fields. It is a comma. All right, if you look here, okay, look at our fields. Okay, in that first row, those are headings. So I will check this. First row contains field names, so it won't be added into my general data. Okay, next. Now, in this, very important, I'm going to select what my data types are. Okay, so according to this, vacancy is going to be text, vacancy ID text, level, all those are going to be text until I get to number. Number I want to be numeric and an integer. Closing date, and I want it to be in this format. Okay, wages to be in currency, currency to 2 decimal places, day release to display as yes, no. These are very important, okay? These 4 formats, okay, down here, and I'll show you why and how we have to do that exactly. Okay, so vacancy, short text, yep. Vacancy ID, short text, no problem. This is going to be very important because this vacancy ID is going to be married to another field in our other database. So vacancy ID, if it is short text, whatever it's married to, it has to be short text as well. Okay, that's going to be important when we create the relationship. So just remember that. Vacancy ID is short text. Okay, level, short text is fine. Employer name, short text as well. Okay. Moving along, subject reference is, nope, I don't want it to be long integer. I want it to be short text. Okay. Learning, subject reference, learning provider. I want that to be text as well. Okay, let's scroll along here. Okay. Number, I want it to be integer, okay? Don't forget, it says in my instructions here that I want it to be numeric, integer, okay? So I don't want it to be long integer, I want it to be integer, okay? Closing date, okay? I want that to be date with time, all right? If you notice though, okay, notice the format of the date here, and then notice the format of our date in our in our test. It is a different format. Don't worry, we're going to change that, okay, once we add that. Okay, wage, I want to be currency, I believe. Don't want it to be double. I want it to be currency. Okay. And day release, I want to be a Boolean value. Boolean value. So I will check that to yes, no. Okay. All right. I do want to finish because I have to, as it says in my instructions, I want to set the vacancy ID field as my primary key. Okay, so I will do this. Choose my own primary key. Nope, I don't want it to be vacancy. I want it to be vacancy ID. So vacancy ID is now my primary key. Okay, now I'm going to select next. Yep, that's fine if I name that table, if it keeps that default name. Don't worry about saving the import steps. Okay, so now if I double click on that, I've got my first table. All right, but notice there's some problems here. Day release is set as -1 and zeros. It's not being displayed as yes, no. Okay, also my date, okay, it's not set to the way that we want the date to be shown. All right, as our test shows, we want our date to be like that. Okay, so we will change those. So in order to do that, we click on Design View. Okay, now once I'm in Design View, okay, I can change the data types in here, or I can make it more precise. Okay, so number, let's start with number, because number I want to make sure that it is an integer. Yep, that's great. Closing date, okay, closing date. I want it to be in a specific format. So look down here. I clicked on closing date here, and now I've got this format bar down here and input, mask, all this stuff. I'm going to click on this bar, and I get this drop-down menu, and I can get the formatting that I want, okay? This is the formatting that I want here, this medium date formatting with the date, the month, and the year, okay? So that's what I want there. I'm going to save that so I don't lose it. That's what I want. Wage, I want to be currency, and I also want it to be set to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to do the same thing. Down here in format, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to select the currency to, let's set it to, currency with the euro. Okay, they don't tell us we have to do anything else. Decimal places, okay, I don't want it to be automatic. I want it to be set to 2 decimal places. Okay, all right, last one. I'm going to save this again. Okay, last one I want is day release. Okay, day release. Data type yes, no. I want to make sure. Okay, so once again, I click on this bar here, get the drop down arrow here, and I want to set it to yes, no. That way I know for sure everything's going to be cool when I do that, okay? Now, my evidence says save the data and take a screenshot, okay? So if I have this, this is great, that shows all that stuff, okay? And I will hit F11 to get, oops, sorry. And F11, get my screenshot. I'm going to put it in here and my evidence. Control V. Oh, that's not what I want. Sorry, I've got it on screen recording, so it's going to not record. Yeah, it's recording my test. Okay, but this is the screenshot that I want. Okay, so I won't be able to, because of the screen recording thing that I'm using, I won't be able to save it the way you guys are. Okay, so let's move on. We've got that. All of that works wonderful. Okay, I'm going to save that, and I'm going to now close it. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to import the other J228 framework.csv file. Okay, subject name text, 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 text for all of these values. Okay, and I'm going to set the subject ID field as the primary key. Okay, so let me do that then. In other words, I'm just importing the other CSV file. Okay, so let me go back to Access. So I do the same thing. Go back up here to external data. I choose text file. Okay, I browse. Like I said, mine is hiding there on my desktop, and it is the J22.8 framework file. Okay, so I'm going to select that. Okay. All right, delimited value, of course, yes. All right, comma separated values. My first row contains field names. Yep. Okay. Short text for subject name. Yep. Nope. I do not want subject ID to be that. I want it to be short text. All right. Framework developer. I want to be short text. And sector area. I also want to be short text. Okay. Let's hit next. All right. Do I want to choose my primary key for this one? Yes, I do. I want to set the subject ID field as the primary key. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and I'm going to choose my own primary key, which will be subject ID. And I will keep that name as it is. Okay, don't worry about saving the import steps. Great, so now I've got this table as well, and according to my evidence, according to the test, I don't have to do anything special with these data types, okay? So the next thing I want to do is create a one-to-many relationship between the subject ID field and the framework field and the subject reference. Very important, guys. If the subject ID, the data type is text. If the subject ID, if the data type for subject ref is not the same data type as subject ID, I will not be able to create a relationship between those two. So very important when you are doing that. Okay, so subject ID is text here. Subject reference also needs to be text. I'm going to go back and I'm just going to go check that. Okay, so I know that. Let's just go into design view. So subject ID is short text. Wonderful. Okay. Close that. And I want to make sure that my subject reference, okay, subject reference is also short text. Good. So subject reference is also short text. In other words, the data type for both the fields that I'm going to marry are the same. So now in my instructions it says I want to create a one-to-many relationship. Okay, I'm going to quickly do that. So we go to database tools. Click on relationships. I get my two tables that I have. Okay, I'm going to add that. I'm also going to add the framework table. Okay, once I've added those two, I will close it. Okay, once again, I want to marry the subject ID field, okay, to the subject reference. Okay, so I'm just going to drag and drop it down here, move it over. Okay, this tells me, do I want to marry subject ID to subject reference? Yes, I do. Okay. Now, let's just show, oops, sorry. Okay, I want to edit relationship. Okay, so it says down here, that's a one-to-many relationship. If you take a screenshot of this, you're good, okay? If you click on Enforce Referential Integrity, okay, it'll show you this little thing here, this little one with the infinity symbol. If you take a screenshot of this, this also shows you a one-to-many relationship. Either or of these is fine for the purposes of the test, okay? In other words, if I have a screenshot of this saying relationship type, one-to-many that shows these, okay, or just a screenshot of this right there, that's fine as well, okay? If we don't have a proper relationship, we're not going to be able to create our queries and reports, okay? I'm just going to save that, and I will save this video and go on to the next one. Okay.